Good morning and welcome to this week's episode of Housing for Good. So we are a little different than we normally are.
Oh, by the way, that's Carolyn and I'm Chris.
There you go. We are actually recording this at the Summit, which is a housing and homeless conference.
Yeah, who puts it on Kansas? Who puts it on Kansas? Carolyn, Kansas, Chris. They all have a K.
Homeless
Have you noticed
Corporation.
that? Kansas Statewide Homeless Coalition.
There you go.
There it is. So as you know, we're very ad lib here. We're here to have a good time and teach you something at the same time. So
That's
anyways,
right.
Now that we're over here done messing around,
Okay.
who do we have today, Carolyn? Who's
All right.
here?
So we have Kristen Egan.
Kristen Egan, who's that?
Kristen, introduce yourself and what is your job? What do you
Sure.
do?
I'm Kristen. I work in Douglas County. I work for Douglas County.
Yep.
Cool.
And I am the Housing and Human Services Program Manager, which means that I oversee a rental and utility assistance program, and I also oversee a flexible housing program that's about 1 year old, and that is a permanent supportive housing locally funded vouchers.
Oh, I love it. So who supports that? I mean, who funds that?
That's funded through Douglas County.
So they have a fund that just specifically pays
Yes.
your salary and then also helps people who are struggling, or is there other funds that come into that? I mean, you don't have to be specific.
The program
but
itself is funded solely by Douglas County right now.
That's amazing.
That is amazing.
That's
Okay.
amazing.
So I want to know, what is the flexible housing pool program? Like,
Yeah.
what does that even mean?
So flexible housing pools are kind of a general term from my understanding that has been born out of communities like yours, like mine, where there are chronically homeless people that cycle through housing programs that don't have enough support. They are built to kind of meet that need, where we know permanent supportive housing is what it takes to successfully house and chronically homeless people, give them the support they need to recover. But sometimes with the rigidity of other funding, HUD funding, it can be hard to make the flexible decisions that we need to make to make these programs successful. And it also allows for a lot more capacity for the case managers.
So somebody really needs something specific for that person, just to explain it a little bit for somebody who's listening and doesn't have any idea
Sure,
what we're
yeah.
talking about.
For people that aren't in the housing world, what it looks like is a voucher, so something that pays their rent each month. We're not building anything, they're just using units that are in the community. Very similar to a Section 8 voucher, except that it is not HUD funded, so there are very few rules, and we can make the rules.
Oh,
so
I love that.
It's the housing voucher, the funding part, and then it's also coming with support that is up to every day of the week.
Okay.
Not
So-
everybody needs that, but
so
that's what supportive housing is.
in McPherson, we have a tenant-based rental
Yep.
assistance
Yeah.
program. I love the concept of there's no real big rules for that,
Yes.
because the TBRA, it's a 2-year max.
Yep.
Yeah, and that
Our
really
homeless
makes people
prevention and
stumble.
rapid
Yeah.
rehousing, it's a 2-year max. And sometimes these folks, even though they're doing absolutely everything they need to
Yeah.
do and that they can do, that 2 years is
Yes.
not enough time.
Well, and the other part that happens is with that Section 8 voucher, if for whatever reason they get evicted, they lose that voucher. So forever, and I don't know if there's a time period, but you can lose that voucher.
It's 7 years.
Then for 7 years, you can't get that voucher back,
Yep.
even if you're a disabled person and
Yes.
maybe you don't have
Yeah.
anybody who's advocating for you. We actually had a situation
Yep.
like that with my son who's special needs. And they tried to evict him, and of course, I was all over that, and we got that stopped.
Yes.
But not everybody has
Not
a
everyone has
crazy
you.
me
Right.
that's going to say, "Wait a minute, buddy, you're
Right.
not going to do this
Right.
to my child."
HUD vouchers are very easy to lose, and they're in high demand, so I understand there needs to be rigid rules. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
the good thing about these locally funded ones, and something that we try to target, if you are somebody that has lost the ability to use a HUD voucher, we can use these vouchers to kind of bridge that. So you could be on this voucher until that time period runs out where you're not allowed to use HUD funding or HUD housing. So it gives people another option who have maybe burned that 7-year bridge.
That's a long bridge.
Yes, it is.
Oh,
And the
wow.
wait list for mainstream vouchers in Douglas County is 2 to 4 years.
Oh, wow.
So the goal is when they get into our program, they're starting that wait list while they use our voucher, with the hopes of eventually stepping down the support and moving to a more mainstream voucher.
Yeah.
Not everyone will be able to do that.
Yeah.
Some people will
Right.
need support forever, but some people will be able to recover from their homelessness and use a less supportive voucher, opening this voucher up for others in need.
I love
Okay.
it. That is
so
such a great
you said
program.
that this program has been going on for about a year?
Yeah, it started in March of 25.
Okay. This kind of sounds like the direction that McPherson Housing Coalition is going.
Mm-hmm.
How did you get Douglas County to get behind this?
Sure. A lot of that, in full transparency, a lot of that happened before I started my role in Douglas County. But two main things that it's two different plans, but it's the Community Health Improvement Plan that involves all the decision makers, policymakers, the health department. There's a plan to, health improvement plan in our community. There's also a community-wide, city and county owns this plan together. It's called A Place for Everyone, and it is our goal to end homelessness, at least chronic homelessness. So we're all working together, and that's so many different entities in Douglas County. That helped because the plan stated we need to address chronic homelessness, and we know permanent supportive housing is the best way. But you also have to educate the community. It's actually
Yes.
really, really expensive to have a person chronically homeless in your community. There are jail stays, there are ambulance rides, EMS, ED visits, shelter stays, all of that costs money. And it's been proven, although the data is hard to get locally, it's been proven nationally that you actually save about $5,000 per year as a community by using
Wow.
PSH rather than just letting people not get their needs met.
So you were addressing that economics.
Yes,
for them.
I think that's very important
think it's
because
a key.
we care about housing people, but not
Right.
everybody does, and that's
Right.
okay.
Right.
But other people have different motivations, and if it's money, then that's how you need to speak to those people.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
great advice.
Yeah.
We try to do that as well. McPherson Housing Coalition adds about $3 million to the local
Wow.
economy, and
Yeah.
I don't through our construction, through saving money for the hospitals when
Yes,
people
exactly.
have a doctor.
Yeah.
and
People
all those
love that
things.
kind of information.
So yes, we've been able to do
Yeah.
that, but it is hard. I will say, trying to get city, county, and nonprofits
Yes.
and people together to work together to
Yes.
solve a big issue. So I'm really proud of you guys over there for being able to figure out
Yes.
how to do that. Everybody wants to be in charge sometimes, and that makes it difficult because they're bumping over each other and they're like, wait a minute, we're all trying to get to the
Right.
same direction, right? Can we
Yeah.
not work on this together?
I do feel like, and like I said, I kind of came in the middle of these, A Place for Everyone, APFE for short.
yeah.
One thing, there's a lot of work to be done, and if you all get in the same room and have the same goal, maybe it's helpful because you have so many doers.
Yeah.
There's so much work to be done to divide it up. Obviously, we had different sections of the plan for a long
Right.
time when I worked for the Statewide Homeless Coalition. I led the systems work group of the A Place for Everyone plan. Now Sarah Kinder, who took my old job, she does that. But there's, different work groups, and maybe that's a way people can feel like they're leading something
Yeah.
without working over each other.
Yeah, I love
Okay.
it. So this is the kind of stuff we need at our housing conference that we do every year.
Absolutely.
To have somebody come in and talk to us about how they did it and got all the
Yes.
different entities together. How are we getting along? How are we deciding that not everybody has to be the person in charge?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't know what the deal is. We
I
seem
know.
to have a
I
lot
think
of.
it ebbs and flows everywhere. Like sometimes everyone's getting along, sometimes they aren't. But as long as you're all working
It's
towards the same
yeah,
thing.
it's like herding cats, right? The cats we have at the office that are running different places, and you're stop. It's like, come on, people, we can make this
Not
happen.
as cute as cats.
They're
though.
not. They're not as cute. They are really not as cute as cats. My cats are cute. One of them, Barney, weighs 20 pounds now. He's quite the cat. But anyway,
Okay. Well, hey, thank you.
Yeah, this is
thank
great.
you for
Thanks for having
being
me.
our first guest
Oh my
Yes.
on our
gosh.
live podcast
What
from the
today.
summit,
prize
we
do
are
I
at the
get?
summit.
We are at the
you get
summit.
You get this sticker right here with our picture on it. There it is. If anybody wants one of
I'll
these,
put it on my laptop.
put that right there. Perfect.
Thank you
Thank
so
you guys.
much.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank
This was
you.
awesome.
It's good to
Thanks.
see you guys as always.
I know. Thank you. Thank you.
Hello. Okay, so now we have been joined by Macy, and Macy is with the Center for Independent Living. All right, Macy, introduce yourself.
Yeah,
and tell
introduce
us
yourself.
what you do.
Okay. So I'm Macy Collins, and I'm an independent living specialist, and I'm here representing all of the Kansas Centers for Independent Living. There are
Oh.
8 centers, that cover all of Kansas. So every single county in Kansas is covered by a center, has a
Okay.
center designated to them.
Okay, so explain if I'm out there listening, I may not know what you're talking about.
Right. So a Center for Independent Living is basically, well, we're resource centers for people with disabilities.
Okay.
So any age, any disability, the services are free. People with disabilities can come to us with pretty much any problem, any barrier they're facing in their home, in their community, in employment and housing.
Oh, wow.
We get them in touch with the resources that will help them with their situation. We do independent living skills training. So, for example, there's a woman with an intellectual disability. She's 62. Her caregiver died.
Oh.
She was never taught how to clean the house.
Okay.
It was always done for her.
Yeah.
So she was in danger of losing her housing because of cleaning violations.
Sure.
We're able to go in and assess a person's situation, right? We're able to go in and say, okay, here's the barriers, here's the problems. Let's get down to why this is happening and how we help, right? So for her, I'm personally teaching her how to clean.
Okay.
Like she didn't know how to do dishes.
Okay.
So,
So you're also doing a lot of advocacy because maybe, okay, in this situation, you're teaching her how to do that, but maybe it's a situation where you don't actually know how to do it, but you're going to pull somebody in that does know how to do it to teach them.
Absolutely. Like sometimes part of our job is getting people in touch with the agencies that can better serve for the barrier they're facing.
Okay.
Right? Like there's really great employment services for youth with disabilities in Kansas right now.
Okay.
So, part of our job is connecting people to the agencies that may serve them better on a particular situation.
So this is really, really important because what we're doing here is keeping people from becoming homeless.
Yeah.
That what you're doing is critically important. So let's say I live in McPherson County, which I do. So there, what would you do for me? Would you is there an agency? Would you connect me with an agency, or how would you get services for, say, my child, if they were my adult child?
Well, it's very individual.
Okay.
This is a very individual basis.
Okay.
What services we're going to provide, where we're going to lead a person. So, it starts with a phone call. Hey, I'm Joe, and this is the problem I'm facing. Like I said, it could be anything under the sun, right?
So you say that every community in Kansas is covered.
Right.
How would somebody even know where to start to find you or to find your work being done in their community? Is there a website? Is there a phone number?
Yes. Well, of course, Google, right? Google Centers for Independent Living. All sorts of things are going to pop up. A good phone. We don't have really like a one phone number to reach all of us now, but you can call any Center for Independent Living in Kansas, and they're going to get you to the right center.
Okay.
We're like sister agencies. We're all partners. We're all helping each other.
What is the number for your agency where you're at?
Well, okay, a good number to start with is 785-528-3105. Okay. So that is my particular Center for Independent Living, Resource Center for Independent Living. We cover like the Topeka area, right? But there's information and referral specialists at every center, and we get you to the right center.
Oh, awesome.
I didn't know anything. So I have a special needs adult son. I knew nothing about what you're talking about today. I never, ever heard of that before.
I know, right? People don't know about it.
I know. This is like really important, guys. So if you've got somebody out there, get a hold of somebody and try to get those services as quickly as you can, because it's going to be the difference sometimes between being housed and not being housed. This is like really important.
Right, and I will say, 40% of the calls to every state has a disability rights center, right? Our disability rights center once said in a training that 40% of their calls are housing violations. We do a lot of teaching people their housing rights, also their responsibilities.
Sure.
But you would be shocked how much housing management, not all of them, there's some really great ones that know, okay? There's some housing management that does not know about fair housing law.
Yeah.
Yes.
And people have the right to accommodations and modifications.
Yes.
And they're being told by their management, oh, we don't do that.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, yes, you do.
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
you do. Yes.
Okay.
There's laws, and we teach people that. So, yes, we do a lot of advocacy.
That's
And we
awesome.
do a lot of advocacy on with developers and people creating housing.
Yeah.
Like, please build the stuff accessible from the get-go.
Yeah.
So people can age in place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Simple things like no stairs, zero entry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, less bathtubs, more walk-in showers.
Yeah.
Especially in senior housing.
Yeah.
It's absolutely silly
Yeah.
to put in
Yeah.
a bathtub.
Oh my gosh.
In my
Man.
opinion, but
You know what I love
the
about
num-
this is we always learn something new, right? You might be in a housing or special needs population or group, and you still don't know all this stuff. How is this
Yeah.
possible? All these years, I've never heard of this.
So I love it because you said it. It's easier to keep people housed than it is to get them rehoused.
Yes.
And that doesn't even talk about the issues now that come against them because they've been evicted.
Right.
Or they have something on their history
Right.
with rental that makes it more difficult to house
Or
the
you
next
lose a
time.
Section 8 voucher and you can't have it back for 7 years because of your disability caused
Yeah.
it, and you didn't have an advocate there like I was for my child to be able to stop it.
Yeah.
Right?
some really great examples of. Okay, so there was a man I worked with that had lost his legs, and it was suddenly, right? It was like an accident. He lost his legs. He had a
Yeah.
second-story apartment.
Oh, wow.
He had to abandon the apartment because, well, he couldn't access it.
Yeah.
So that blacklisted him from future income-based housing. So I helped him write a reasonable accommodation saying, this is why I abandoned the unit.
Yeah.
Right.
And I'm requesting an accommodation to the rule here to be allowed back in. And we got it,
Yeah.
Oh,
you know?
wow.
And I
so we
think
have-
it is that simple, too.
Yeah.
Just having an advocate write a letter for you.
Yeah.
How simple is that? But he couldn't do it on his own or didn't know.
Right, and we partner, we teach people.
Yes.
Right? We don't do things for people. Everything is based on consumer choice, what they want for themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we are teachers.
Yeah.
We're not going to fill out the forms for you. We're not going to, we're going to teach you
I love it.
Yeah, I
how
do too.
how to do that. And of course, we will partner and provide support because
Yeah.
not everybody can do everything on their own, right?
Yeah.
But we absolutely try to teach as much as we can. So.
All right.
What a
Well,
great
Maisie,
interview.
thank you so
Yeah,
much
thanks for being
Yeah,
here today.
thank
coming
you
in and
guys.
sitting in, and
Yeah.
thank you for the work you're doing, and good job.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks.
And I will say that if you hear back, we are actually live at the summit. So you're
Yes.
hearing all this background noise. It really is people coming in and out.
Yeah.
So I just want to say that to everybody. You really are at the summit with us.
Well, thank you all for having me.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now we're going.
Okay.
Hey, we are back again, and this time we have Shavella Gaston.
I
and
know.
She is with Kim Wilson Housing, and I have no idea what that is, but introduce yourself.
Yeah. Tell us who you are.
Okay, good morning. I'm Shavella Gatson with Kim Wilson Housing, and I am the Director of Rental Assistance, Housing and Rental Assistance Programs. So what Kim Wilson does is we house people with mental illness or some type of disability, be it mental illness, chronic substance abuse. That's what our programs house.
And
do.
where is your program? What area of the
So
state?
we are housed out of Kansas City, Kansas.
Oh,
However,
Kansas City. Okay.
However, we house clients on both the Kansas City, Kansas, and the Kansas City, Missouri side.
Okay.
So,
So
you
we-
picked a name that was kind of neutral, maybe?
With Kim Wilson?
Yes.
Actually, no, that was from an age. Actually, she was a staff member. Her name is Kim Wilson, and she ultimately passed away from cancer. And so she had a vision and a passion to house the homeless. So she was, in fact, a case manager for us many, many years ago.
Oh, wow.
And then she ended up passing away. And when they were deciding what they wanted to name our agency, they named it Kim Wilson.
That
Oh,
makes
that's
me
beautiful.
like that.
Yeah.
You know, and what an awesome thing to take that vision
Yeah.
and to move it forward and to know that from now on, her dream
It lives on.
It lives
Absolutely.
on, and so
she never got a chance to see
Yes.
it come to fruition, but
Yes.
absolutely she lives on.
So
Yes.
how many do you have housing units then?
So what we do is we don't have housing units. We just get the funding,
Okay.
and then clients can select their housing, or we help them find units. We work with multiple landlords
Okay.
and
Okay.
negotiate rents and things like that. Of course, make sure it's safe, decent, and affordable housing. And
Sure.
so we don't have our own units, but we have multiple scattered landlords who has sites, and we
So
house
is
those
it
clients there.
emergency solutions grant funding or
No,
something
it's
completely different?
Well, it's a rapid rehousing, and we
Okay.
have permanent supportive housing. So we have
Okay.
multiple different grants up under our program.
Now, we have an emergency solutions grant, which is rapid rehousing and homeless prevention.
Okay.
In that program that we have, there's a 2-year time limit. Tell me what that looks like for you guys.
Yeah, so that kind of under our rapid rehousing, that's 2-year program as well. So what
Yeah.
we're doing is we're getting the client in, getting them stable, getting them case management services, and helping them to move on successful. So we're helping them to gain employment, to apply for the housing authority so that they can have permanent housing after they finish
Yeah.
our 2-year program.
Yeah.
So my question with that is, okay, you don't have your own units, but you have permanent supportive housing. So that is a relationship with a landlord. How are you doing that?
Just building good rapport with the landlords.
And that they understand that you have somebody in there, you have a case manager, you're going to make sure they have what they need, and you're going to be in that
Absolutely.
in that home all the time. Okay, well that
yeah.
makes sense because we
Well-
have our own permanent. We have our own units, and we're building 5 more, and so we're the landlord, we're the everything. So it's
And
challenging.
if you're a
but-
landlord, this is one of the most surefire ways to make sure the rent gets paid every month,
Absolutely.
the utilities get paid every
Right.
month. Nothing is being torn up because this person is working with folks like yourself, like
Right.
us, to help them be stable and to teach them how to take care of something, how to go about paying their bills, and to be that level of just responsibility,
Accountability, absolutely.
accountability
Yeah,
that
this
comes
is-
along with it.
So
Yeah.
tell me a story of a positive thing that's happened recently. Do you have one? You have to have a million
We
stories.
have several, but we have some that, and because we're up under the umbrella of Wyandotte Mental Health, we have to be careful, of course, for HIPAA.
Yeah, of
but we
course.
have clients who, say for example, someone comes off the streets and, perhaps had a substance abuse or mental illness, they have to have some type of disability to be in our program. But we get them, we give them furniture, we purchase their furniture, we purchase food, and then so it's so rewarding to see you walk them through getting their vital documents, ID, birth certificate, and then you say, okay, well, let's apply for a job. So we have clients who work now and who are kind of giving back because they do have to pay a portion of their rent once they gain employment.
yeah.
So it's just rewarding to see, okay, and they feel so good. Okay, here's my rent, it's $30, $40, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's rewarding to see. And they feel good because they feel like I'm doing my part.
Yeah.
Have you ever had anybody just break down?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, where
absolutely.
they're just overwhelmed by
Yeah,
the whole
coming from the
situation.
streets, absolutely.
Yes, walking into. I mean, that's got to be a lot already. Especially with if there's a mental illness or disability that's attached to that, makes it so much harder emotionally for them to be able to do that. That's
Absolutely.
amazing. I love what they're doing.
Oh, I do
Absolutely. That's
too.
a wonderful work.
I do too.
And I
So
love
we're-
the connection. So we have we have an Oak Harbor Cottages, which is our emergency shelter. They're 10 tiny homes. And one of the ladies that was helping to develop that passed away in the middle of the project. It about killed us. Probably the same way that you felt about the person that you've named your agency after. And so we named one of the houses after her.
Oh,
and
that's
it's called
nice.
Jamie's House.
Oh,
so
very
from
nice.
now to forever, the dream that she had with us will
It lives
live
on,
on.
absolutely.
It will live on, and it's such an
Absolutely.
emotional thing for everybody to know that somebody is so closely connected to the work that we do, and
Absolutely.
how passionate they were to make it happen. So
Right.
I love this. This is my
Absolutely.
favorite
Okay,
thing.
so I have a question regarding Kansas and Missouri. Do you see a big difference in the laws or the way that things work in the work that you do between one state and the other, or is it pretty much across the board the same?
No, it's a little bit different. I believe that Kansas City, Missouri has a little bit more resources
Oh,
than we do
okay.
on the Kansas side. So I think there are a little bit more resources now.
Okay.
Is that from the local, the state, or the federal that you think those are coming in from? And I'm curious if they're bringing more federal money in, or if they're local people
It
from
could
the,
be a combination
the county
of all
and
of
city
it.
are going, you know what, this is important, we want to help fund that.
Yeah.
See, I just know when we get
Yeah.
a client that comes from the Missouri
Yeah.
side, they're kind of already a little bit stable maybe with some things, and we can go
Okay.
back and provide more things for them on the Missouri side as
So you
opposed
got everybody
to
to move
a
across
little bit
the
limited. Well, no.
All right, everybody, jump
No,
over this
now,
line.
No, yeah, There's
We
just
got better stuff over
you know,
here.
it's just a lot more larger. More landlords are willing to work.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
more
Yeah.
more resources, more
Yeah.
units.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fun.
Well, I'm going to tell you today, thank you for the
Yeah.
work that you
Absolutely.
do and
Absolutely.
for
It's my
the
pleasure.
care that you give your clients. And
Yeah.
that, to me, is a really difficult clientele when there's mental illness and substance abuse. So thank you so much.
Yeah, we
Absolutely,
appreciate you
our
a
pleasure.
lot.
Thank you all so much.
Yeah,
Thank
thank
you
you
for
for
being on
coming
our
and being
podcast.
open
You're
to
welcome.
doing this with us.